It almost never happens where someone gives you money and says, okay, go do what you do.
I just wanted to tell stories.
We saw this grant posted with Sony.
Wow, that would be so cool if I won Sony Alpha Female.
I really thought it was this unattainable goal.
Me with Sony? Me? You know,
I did it. Hey, I'm a Sony Alpha Female.
Then Sony gives you the tools.
My mind started racing, how to push the project.
My project with the grant was Women of the West.
Wildlife in the Midwest.
My project was called Under the Weather.
I created an ebook featuring 10 of my mom's desserts recipe.
The Subtle Strength of Kings.
I came up with this idea that I didn't think anyone would go for.
And then it's going on the Sony platform.
There's always this little voice that comes in and it's like, uh-oh, are you really good enough?
It is life-changing.
It meant everything to me as an artist.
You matter, your art matters.
If Sony said you're pretty good, then you're pretty good.
The best thing about the Alpha Female program is that it's open to anyone.
Just type it out, hit submit.
We all have something that we're passionate about that just kind of burns in our soul.
What story could you tell that hasn't been told yet?
Really shoot from the heart.
I can't wait to see what you create.
You just have to go out and do it.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you may be. I am so excited to welcome you today to our Alpha Female Plus kickoff of the 2021 season. Welcome. I am Michaela Yon of Sony's Alpha team, of Sony Alpha Universe, and of course the lead for Sony Alpha Female, which is why I'm here welcoming you today. We have an amazing community with us today and people from all over the world. And we are really just so excited to be able to be bringing this new season of Alpha Female to you. And hopefully you had a chance to watch the video that we just saw with some amazing winners from our previous round who have created some wonderful projects. And hopefully you can see yourself among them. That's why we're here today. We have a jam-packed session with some incredible guests. We have the amazing artist Brooke Shaden. We have Dr. Tamaya Colvin. Both are Sony Artisans of Imagery, and I know many of you already know them and love them. And we also have our 12th winner of the final season, the previous season of Alpha Female Plus, Lisa Janae, who is going to share a teaser of the project she worked on with us for her grant. So we have a lot to share with you, but before we get started, I'm going to share a couple of things about the Alpha Female program with you, and then I'm going to bring my partner from Alpha Universe, Christopher Robinson, and we're going to have a chat about the thing that everyone is really interested in nailing for this round, and that is the Alpha Female grant application. So for those of you who are new to the community, welcome. We have what I would say, and I'm not biased at all, the best community on the planet. We have an amazing group of people who are supportive, who are ambitious, who want to get stuff done, who want to make the world a better place, who want to make photography better, who want to grow as artists and as business people, and they all support each other so much. So welcome to the community, and welcome to our 4th year of Alpha Female. We started in 2018. We had 2 rounds of Creator in Residence program, which was wonderful. And then we expanded the program and we switched it up based on your feedback to include more grants, to include specific projects, to include all levels of professional achievement, to really include anyone and everyone who wants to create. And that's where we are today. Our last or latest season of Alpha Female just ended a month ago. And we wanted to get right back into it. And this year we're going to do it bigger and better because that's what we like to do every year. So this year we have 1 grant every month, starting this month. And a lot of great opportunities for the people who are participating in the grant contest and for the community, for our social community, for our Facebook group, a lot more to come this year. So let's get to the place where we really wanted to talk about today, which you are all waiting for, and that is the grant application. So Christopher, come on in and let's have a chat about it.
Thanks, Michaela.
Hello. Hi.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Doing great, thanks. Good to be here.
Well, great to be here. For those of you who don't know, Christopher and I work very closely together. We, unfortunately for him, talk every day, several times a day sometimes. And one of our favorite topics to discuss is Alpha Female and how to make this program shine and how to make the community, most importantly, shine. So
Absolutely.
We have a new round of applications. We have both actually seen all of the applications from the previous round, so we're in a good position to tell people some of the things that we're looking for and how to put their best foot forward, right?
Absolutely. And Michaela, if we can just sort of start, I want to talk just for a second, kind of at the end, and that is about the prize. The Alpha Female Grant is an extremely strong program, and the grant itself is $5,000 in cash for your project, another $3,000 in Sony gear to complete your project. And there's some other things as well. We have partnerships with Adobe and I'm sorry, Michaela, can you remind me of all the other partnerships that we have?
Yeah, Sony Pro Support, one of the most important ones as well.
So it's a great grant.
I think I'm on the delay. This is my fault. We do this all the time, don't we? We do this all the time, you guys, all the time. I say something and then Chris hears it like 1,000 minutes later, and then all of this happens. So I'm sorry, Chris, but you're used to this.
This is the world we live in a COVID and remote Zoom and conference call environment.
Yes, it is. It is. Let's talk. So great points about the prize. I think everyone obviously wants that, but I think the most meaningful part about it is that we looked at what we were doing before when we recalibrated the program and we reinvented it. And what we saw was that this was kind of like a sweet spot for what people needed in order to complete a really nice project that could add to their portfolio, that could put a spotlight on them and so on. So that's how we reached to this level of the grant. And we know that the gear is always welcome, and to have the latest and greatest is fantastic to be able to create something with it. So it's really, it's a well-calibrated program, I would say, from that perspective. But I think the most important part about it, Chris, and we've talked about this quite a bit, is it's really not an overwhelming thing to do. Like, we are trying to keep it very simple, and we're trying to give everyone a chance, like a really good, fair shot at getting this grant.
Definitely. And by having 12 of the grants, we're really trying to expand the program, make it open to a lot of people, have a lot of winners, be able to showcase a lot of work. So it's a great program, and hats off to you, Michaela, and to Sony for creating it.
Well, yes, team effort, lots of people involved in making this reality. So the application, let's talk about that. The application has a few elements to it. The first element is an Alpha Universe creator profile. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so in your creator profile, go to Alpha Universe, and if you don't already have an account and a profile, in the top right-hand corner, you can make one. We want you to make a profile. It's an opportunity to put a little bit of yourself to join the community on Alpha Universe, but also to put yourself in a situation, or rather a page where we have a lot of great information about you. There's a place for your statement about yourself, as well as images, photos that you can showcase to let us see a little bit about what you can do.
Right, and the public profile is really important as well, because it kind of allows the community to see who you are as well. We have a nice gallery on Alpha Universe where people can go and look for you and see your art, and they learn this way as well. A lot of people ask us about what makes, say, an application successful, and this is one of those things, how you present yourself to the world. The second thing, let's talk about
Michaela, I stepped right over you again.
It's okay. People know this.
One thing I wanted to mention.
It's been over a year. See?
One thing I wanted to mention about the profile is the images that you put in your profile do not have to be shot with Sony. So we're opening this application, this grant, your profile. It's open to anyone, and the images that you share don't have to be shot with a Sony camera.
That's right. Yes, that's one of the things, right? You're exploring, and you may be shooting with a completely different device. You may be shooting on your phone right now because that's what you have, and that's perfectly fine. We want to help you get to the next level with the grant. So the second piece after the creator profile is the essay. And a lot of people have submitted questions asking about the essay. So here are a couple of things about it. The essay is going to be about 500 words long. That's what 3,000 characters translate into. And what we're looking for is kind of an overview, a quick overview of your project, why you're pursuing the project, and how you're planning to use the grant for that project. It's really not super complicated. We definitely don't want you to overthink it. So it's good to run it by people if that's what you like to do, or leave it there and read it the next day before you submit it if that's what your process looks like. But really don't overthink it. As long as you are clear to the point and you tell us exactly what it is that you're trying to do, that's what we need, right?
Definitely. And the essay, like Michaela said, don't overthink it. This is a chance for you to kind of put forth your idea, be bold, be creative, express yourself. This is where you can really let us see in words what you want to do with this grant money.
Yes, and that is complemented very well by a personal video. That's another thing that people ask a lot about, the personal video. We are looking for a 1-minute personal video. It can be an introduction of you and your project, or however you think you can best show us who you are. And you can best tell us the story of why you'd like to have this grant and what you're going to do with it. We have seen all sorts of videos, and people who have won had all sorts of videos from the regular, just looking at the camera and talking to us the way I'm doing it right now. People have recorded those on phones, they've recorded them on computers, they record them on regular cameras, all the way to, you'll see a video example later from Lisa Janae, to editing together a video with behind the scenes footage of them at work and photos and all sorts of things to illustrate some of the things they were saying. So we're really looking for really something that you feel best represents you, right, Chris?
Definitely. And again, don't overthink it. We want to get a sense of who you are and what what you're about and what you want to be doing with the grant. You can be fancy if you want to be fancy. You can be simple if you want to be simple. Just be yourself and put your best foot forward.
Yes, and a couple of things. Definitely try to be in focus. So, focus is kind of important so that we can see you clearly. And then try to have good audio. We've had videos in the past where we had a hard time hearing. So definitely make sure that you're in a place where you can actually record yourself. But other than that, that's about it. The rest is all you.
Yeah, and just another note about the audio, that is so important. Make sure that we can hear you nice and clearly in your video. It's important for all the judges, and we really appreciate it.
We sure do. What else do we have as part of the application? And by the way, you guys, I think I forgot to mention this. We're doing this, but we're also going to do an actual Q&A at the end of the event today, where we're going to answer any questions that you submit. And if you're in Alpha Universe right now, or even if you're on YouTube, it's the same process. You can submit a question. You'll see a little thing in the bottom right corner, I think, of the video, where you can actually submit a question. So go ahead and do that. There are no silly questions. We know that this is important to you. We want it to be important to you, and we want you to put your best foot forward. So ask away. We're going to try to answer as many as we can. And do that as well. If there are questions you're having right now, just go ahead and put them in, and we'll definitely try to get to them. So don't hesitate.
Yeah, one other note just about the application overall. It's really very straightforward. We're spending a lot of time right now talking about the essay and the video because there are usually some questions about that. But it's a straightforward, simple application. And most importantly, as we've said several times here, don't overthink it. You have a great chance of winning, and we have a lot of grants that we're giving out. Definitely, apply and take a nice idea, blow it out, send it in, and we want to see what you have in mind.
Yeah, and I think a couple of things that I want to make sure everyone knows as well. The first thing is that if you apply right now, at any point that you apply, during this process, you are going to be in the running for the remainder of the application month. So, for instance, if you're applying now, between now and the end of this month, when the application closes, you are going to be in the running for all 12 grants this year, which is a pretty big deal. So it means that just because you didn't win this month and someone else is announces the winner, it doesn't mean that you're not going to win later on. So that's very important to keep in mind. The second thing to keep in mind is that you can actually apply 12 times this year with a different project idea. So I know that probably everyone watching us right now has a whole bunch of ideas written down, a whole bunch of things that they've been dreaming of doing, projects they've been wanting to shoot. All of those are fair game. Apply this month with the one you have right now, and then next month put another one forward. And do that the month after as well, because you never know which one's going to be the actual winner. And the reason this is really important, you guys, is because this is for you. This is a process for you. The more you do this, the more you're going to gain confidence. The more you're going to be able to develop your ideas. The more you're going to be able to develop your dream. The more opportunities you may bring into your sphere because you're thinking about these things and you're watching out for certain things that you weren't thinking about before. So that's the reason I'm bringing it up and telling you that this is a pretty massive opportunity for the remainder of the year, because you should definitely try to take advantage of it.
And I'd like to add a couple of things to that real quick. A couple of years ago, we had someone who in the community in the Facebook group who commented about what a great experience just filling out the application was, how it had really helped her to focus her ideas, to think about what she was trying to do and where she wanted to be in her career. There's a lot of power in just going through the exercise of applying. And also, if you'll notice on the Alpha Female page on alphauniverse.com, in the top right-hand corner, there's a countdown timer. And that countdown timer is going to be there all year long. And it's going to be counting down to the deadline of the next grant application. So as Michaela said, every month we're doing a grant, and that countdown timer is going to reset at the end of the month when 1 month's grants are due and the next month's grants start.
Perfect. Great point. And that's where you apply as well. So it's all in one stop, and then read the rules. Nobody ever reads the rules. The rules are really important. And all of the detail is there, which is the most important part. So you're going to get to see all the deadlines. You can lay it out for yourself really nicely. You can print it out if you want to. Really lots of great information in there. So definitely do that. So the best part about Alpha Female, I will keep repeating this, is the community that we have. We have the best community out there, the greatest people. And I am just so excited every single time we do this, because I get to talk to people. I get to see their names popping up and asking questions and commenting and all of that. And I know someone else who does this really, really well, and she enjoys this process so very much, and that is Brooke Shaden. So we're going to wrap this segment up, and we're going to come back with Brooke Shaden because she has some cool stuff to tell us.
Hi, I'm Lisa Janae, and I'm going to share 3 facts about myself.
almost never happens where someone gives you money and says, okay, go do what you do.
I just wanted to tell stories.
We saw this grant posted with Sony.
Wow, that would be so cool if I won Sony Alpha Female.
I really thought it was this unattainable goal.
Me with Sony? Me? You know,
I did it. Hey, I'm a Sony Alpha Female.
Then Sony gives you the tools.
My mind started racing, how to push the project.
My project with the grant was Women of the West.
Wildlife in the Midwest.
My project was called Under the Weather.
I created an ebook featuring 10 of my mom's desserts recipe.
The Subtle Strength of Kings.
I came up with this idea that I didn't think anyone would go for.
And then it's going on the Sony platform.
There's always this little voice that comes in and it's like, uh-oh, are you really good enough?
It is life-changing.
It meant everything to me as an artist.
You matter, your art matters.
If Sony said you're pretty good, then you're pretty good.
The best thing about the Alpha Female program is that it's open to anyone.
Just type it out, hit submit.
We all have something that we're passionate about that just kind of burns in our soul.
What story could you tell that hasn't been told yet?
Really shoot from the heart.
I can't wait to see what you create.
You just have to go out and do it.
Brooke Shaden, hello.
Hi, thank you so much.
It is so great to see you. Now, I think everyone probably who's watching us knows you, but if someone has been living under a rock and does not know you, you are one of the most amazing artists out there. You are amazing at sharing your knowledge with the community. You've been doing some amazing art and work over the past few years. You're also a Sony Artisan of Imagery. And as of today, you're also officially an Original by Design.
Yeah.
So for those of you who don't know, this was a pretty big week for Brooke. She has a whole bunch of things going on, and she's gonna tell us about some of them. And one of those things is that she launched a new campaign today with Microsoft, our friends at Microsoft. And the campaign is Original by Design, which is why I was trying to link there. But it's true, that's who you are. And I want to talk about that in our chat today, because I think a lot of our community is aiming for the same thing. They want to be original, they are original, they want to get that originality out and their voice out. And you have some really great thoughts about that, but also you have some great classes that you've put out, and you have a lot of things to say because it's something that excites you, right?
Yes, it's perhaps the most exciting thing in the whole world to talk about. how to not just like how to stand out or how to, because I feel like this is such a, I don't know, such a big word these days with people saying like you have to be original, you have to do something different, you know. But I think that so much of doing your own thing isn't figuring out how to be different, it's figuring out how to be yourself. And that's the essence of any type of success, but especially in the creative world. It's about how can I connect so deeply to who I am and who I'm trying to be that that essence comes out and other people believe it when they look at me and what I do.
When you think about this, you've also had a lot of practices at figuring these things out. What are some of the things that you tell people? What is some of the advice that you give when it comes to trying to get to that place where you feel like you are who you are and that's what matters?
Right. Well, I think that it's kind of the process of uncovering things about yourself. So digging into your past and saying, what makes me different? What makes me unique? What are moments in my life that have stood out as being these moments where I had to really reassess, like, am I going to be who I am right now for the rest of my life, or am I going to transform into someone different? And we all have those moments in our lives where we look back and we think, wow, that was a real turning point for whatever reason in my evolution. And then being able to not only recognize that in hindsight, but in the present, in the now, and being able to say, right now, I'm at a turning point in my life. Now, how am I going to intentionally make myself different, make myself better, make myself more me? I think that that's where the learning comes from, is that ability to go from hindsight to the present. And that's what I try to cultivate in my life, and everything that I do is to be so present and so, this is a weird word to use, but so analytical about what I'm going through that I start to understand it not only from a personal perspective, but from that 40,000 foot view. And largely, I think that's what art is. It's the ability to create from a personal place, but also to see it from an outsider's perspective, so that you combine your personal need to create the art with impact and how that touches other people.
So you had some really great points in there. Let's talk through some of them. You've been with the Alpha Female program since the inception. You were there from before the start when we were talking about it as an idea. And for a lot of the people that we met along the way, this was a turning point for them. Whether it was a turning point in their consciousness and realizing that this is what they wanted to do, or the path they wanted to go on. How would you tell people to use an opportunity like this one, which, if taken the right way or if approached in the right way, could actually be life-changing? How do you tell them to do that, and how do they balance that with also not getting in their own heads and overthinking it, and still keeping it simple and moving it forward?
Right. Well, you said something that I found really interesting, which is that for so many people who have been part of the program, it's become a turning point. And specifically, I always get really caught up when somebody asks me this very simple question, which is like, what have been the big turning points in your career or in your art? And it's always really hard for me to answer that, because on one hand, I could say like, oh, I got this award, or I had this exhibition and that was a turning point. But the reality of it is that it's very rarely the thing that happens that's given to you after you put in the work. It's the decision to put in the work that's the turning point. It's that decision of like, I'm going to apply to galleries. I'm going to apply for this award or this grant or whatever it is. And just the act of saying yes to different things is the act of having a turning point or recognizing a turning point in your life. So I love that you said that, because for everybody applying, let this be your turning point, whether or not the grant comes your way or it doesn't, because the act of saying yes and putting the work in is that piece of yourself that becomes the success. And I really, truly believe that. So that's one point. The second point that we need to discuss is confidence. And how do we cultivate a sense of confidence when there's something in the back of our mind saying, you're not good enough for this, someone out there is better, why would I be deserving of this? And I can tell you, as someone who has won an award, after talking to people who have won awards, those people who win the awards still think that about themselves even after they won the award. So it's not like somebody just wins something and then all of a sudden they fully believe in what they're doing. It's really an act of cultivation that never stops just because one person or one entity believes in you. So when I think about confidence, I think that confidence is the foundational work that is required of us as artists. And more generally as human beings, but especially as artists, if we don't have that foundation of at least believing that our work is worthy of making impact, then we'll probably never take action to put our work out there in the first place. So then how do we do that? Well, one is that we stop using language that demeans us. And this is all about the narrative that we want to tell about ourselves and how we want other people to perceive us. So when you're writing your application and you're thinking about what to say, try to avoid using words like, I think my project will do this. I want my project to do this. And just say, it will do this. And be confident about it, because the more you practice confidence, the more you cultivate confidence. And I really, truly believe that as someone who used to have zero confidence and thought that I was worthy of nothing, truly, I went from recognizing that that was the narrative that I told myself to just changing how I spoke about myself and how I viewed myself. And that has been the most life-altering thing for me. And I think that wealth and success is cultivated on the back of that confidence.
Yeah, and that's such a great point, because I think that little nagging voice that we all have never really goes away. It just maybe becomes quieter at times because you just hit it with some confidence, like you were saying, and it just goes back into its corner where it should be most of the time. It's useful sometimes, but really only in situations where it allows you to grow. And I think for the Alpha Female program, that is just so much more important as well. You know, I think it's not a gender specific thing, but I think a lot of women that I've met go through this constant questioning of their own value and their own ability to do something and their own worth. It's kind of interesting what you said about putting it into words and in the application, because you kind of sense it sometimes in how people write their essays, for instance. And as someone who reviews all of them, it's sort of interesting because I'm having a dialogue in my head every time I read the essay. And it's like, no, you can do this. No, this is a great idea. I hadn't thought about it. Nobody else had thought about it. This is the first time we've seen this. What are you talking about? And I think that's just such an important part and such a great exercise to go through as well. Because invariably is, what's the worst that could happen? With this application, the worst that could possibly happen, the absolute worst that could happen, is that you don't win it. And that's it. And that is not bad at all. But how much more can you gain from it?
I agree. It's like you always have to consider that there is no risk without opportunity and there is no opportunity without risk. But often we build up this idea of risk and we hold the opportunity to such a high standard that we think we'll never get there and that the risk is so much greater than the reward. But usually the risk is actually quite incredibly small in a lot of situations, and especially in a situation like this. And this, I think I'm about to go on a tangent, so you can just cut me off if you want to. But I was just thinking of kind of an apt metaphor that has been like brewing in my mind for a long time. And it's this idea that what we do as artists, and even relating this specifically to submitting to a grant for a project, it's like you have a box that you're going to give someone. So you have a gift and you're filling it up. And the art that you make and the project that you choose and all these elements that go into telling somebody why your project is important or why your art is important, you're constantly putting those elements inside this box. And eventually it gets filled up and it's ready to go to whoever's going to receive it. And then they open it up and they take all the contents out of the box and they get to see your art and your purpose and your impact. And maybe that touches them, or maybe they pass it on to somebody else. And I love to think of it like this because the act of creating art is, to me, the act of gift giving. And it's a gift to yourself, it's a gift to other people. And I think for me, when I approach an application, because I apply to things all the time, contests and grants and stuff like that, and I'm always a little bit nervous to do it. That has never gone away. I always sit there hesitant to write the essay and hesitant to make a video and hesitant to hit send. But then I remind myself that art is a gift for somebody, not for everybody. We're not going to please everyone, but with this project that you're considering, with this art that you want to make, it will be a gift for somebody. Somebody will need to receive that. So how are you going to fill your box? How are you going to package it? And then how are you going to give that away? And those are all things that we need to consider when creating this application.
I know that we were talking recently about critiques, right? About portfolio reviews. And that was something you were sharing. You sign up for those all the time. People come to you to critique their portfolios, but then you also do it on your own because you actually gain a lot from those things. And that's a pretty nerve-wracking thing. It's a lot like this application. Like, I'm sharing my work with someone who could potentially tell me that it's terrible, right?
Yeah, and it's funny that you bring this up because I just did a portfolio review last week with somebody who reviewed my portfolio 5 years earlier. And I specifically signed up for this review because 5 years earlier, I had the worst review from this person. Like, they were like, you're not a real artist. Your art has no depth. Like, you're never going to have a big career if you keep going on like this. And it was just one of those moments in your life where you're like, I'm questioning everything. I don't know what to do anymore. But 5 years later, with that perspective, I decided to sign up again with the same reviewer to see what they had to say 5 years later. And it was a much more positive experience. And it's just a reminder that we're never done growing. We'll never be done doubting ourselves and getting advice and learning. And but the thing that we're afraid of is always diminished when we face it, I think. And so it's good to just keep moving forward with that.
Yeah, it's about perseverance. And that's why earlier, Christopher and I were talking about the application, and one thing that I'm going to stress out through this entire event today, until people are going to get sick of hearing it, is that you can apply multiple times through the year. And the reason I'm telling you this is not because we want more applications in, it's because that is going to make a difference to you. If you start applying now, you will see a significant difference in your ability to apply successfully for something by the end of the year. And it's also going to become like a habit, and it's going to take that fear out of it. And it's going to really help you in ways that you didn't imagine. And it's just not a very difficult thing to do. A lot of people are afraid of that video, Brooke, and you do a lot of video all the time, and you've gotten over that fear. What are your tips for someone who's recording a personal video for the first time for this application?
Okay, first thing that I want to say is it like, what, we have 16 days till the first deadline, is it? I think something around there. So that means that every day for 16 days, you should be getting up and making a video and then just throwing it away. It's okay to not use it. But the more you just practice looking at a camera and saying, hi, my name is blah, 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 and this is what I do, then you're going to be so much more comfortable with it. You don't have to sound any different than you normally sound. You don't have to look at the camera like it's this terrifying thing. The fact is that you can talk however you want to talk. You can pretend that the camera is whoever you want it to be. And every time that I make a video, I know a couple of things. One is that, first of all, I'm not an actress. So unless you are, you may think, I don't know how to talk to a camera because I don't act. Well, that's exactly perfect for talking to a camera because you're not supposed to act. Just act like it's your friend if we have to act like anything at all. So there's nothing to be worried about. And you can have as many takes as you want. But for me, I always tell people that I work with whenever I'm being filmed, I always say, you get one take, because I don't do anything twice because it just like gets in my head and I get nervous. So if you practice every day, just doing one take every day, even if you mess up on the second word, you know, like even if you say your name wrong, then at least every day you're building so that that first take that you do will be more authentic and more you. So that's my biggest advice, is just like, you have 16 days, start practicing every single day. I say do a challenge here. We're doing this together now, okay? Do a challenge where like every day on Instagram, you decide that you're going to video yourself and put that on your Instagram story and tag it with Sony Alpha Female even. And just so that you get, more peer review on the stories that you're putting out there every day, 15 seconds on Instagram stories, and you're going to grow so much from that.
I love that. Let's double that. Also post it in the Facebook group, Sony Alpha Female Facebook group. Yes. There are a lot of really supportive people out there who will be happy to give you constructive feedback on your video, and you will definitely grow from it. Fantastic advice. Thank you. Now, before we leave, a couple of things that I'm super excited about that I want to make sure that we mention. First and foremost, you have a book out.
I do. I have it right here. Yeah, I'm very excited.
I haven't had a chance to get my hands on it yet, but I cannot wait. I'm very excited about it. And, we have Michelle looking in the comments right now and in the questions, and we're going to select 3 people from those questions who have asked questions to receive one of your books, because we want to enjoy it. That's right. But do not despair if you did not ask a question because you were just paying attention and you were holding your question until the end of the session. That's okay too. Come to the Sony Alpha Female Facebook group next week, and there might be more books coming your way. So let's just say that.
I can't hear Michaela. Can everyone else hear Michaela?
Brooke lost the sound. Can you hear me? Can you still hear me? Okay. Well, it looks like Brooke cannot hear us anymore. Hopefully you can hear me. Brooke, are you still there? Hello? Okay, well, this was bound to happen, everyone. It was bound to happen. We knew this would happen. We are prepared because, look, you can tell from Brooke's face that she wants to say something. And she's still very much into this. Brooke, can you still hear us? All right. Well, if Brooke cannot hear us anymore, I am going to move on to the next part. Thank you, Brooke. If you start hearing us again, thank you for being with us. This isn't over, everyone. We're going to have Brooke back. We're going to invite her to the Facebook group as well, so be sure to go join that if you haven't yet. And we're going to ask, we're going to ask Polly Irungu and M. Martinez and Kasara from the comments to please email us at sonyalphafemale@alphauniverse.com so we can send you your book that you just won, Brooke's book. The other thing that I was going to ask Brooke about that I didn't get a chance was about her workshop. She just launched a really impressive online workshop. And you can find more information on her website and watch on social media. I think it's something that you would benefit from greatly as well. And we're going to have her come and talk about that at some point during the program as well. So that's our segment with Brooke. Thank you. We're going to be right back with Dr. Tomaya Colvin.
Honestly, the biggest surprise for me with the Alpha Female program was getting chosen.
I actually did not know that grants like these exist.
Hey, they're doing this award submission.
I got an email first saying, hey, call us back.
When I got the call that I won the Alpha Female Plus grant, I was ecstatic.
I was shocked beyond measure.
My boyfriend was so happy for me. I'm pretty sure we high-fived. I felt like I could really tell a story in a whole new medium, bring it so much more life with video and sound and music.
For such a well-respected brand like Sony to step in and say, we trust you, go make what you're gonna make. We can't wait to see it. That was a great surprise.
My project is going to be a culmination of 100 men of color.
My project was reimagining Afro-Mexicans as these national treasures.
I live in a really small town in southeastern Idaho. You're walking down the street and it's women wearing the overalls, muck boots up to their knees.
I have a fascination with these miniature rooms, putting zoo animals inside of these very refined little spaces.
My mom always wanted to write a book. The details and the recipes coming from generations after generation. This grant really helped us to achieve that dream.
We joined the Alpha Female program because Tiara and I wanted to tell the story of our culture. We wanted to do something
about Filipino nurses. These people were on the front line fighting this horrible pandemic, but didn't have a taste of home. Why not open a restaurant?
We live in Wisconsin, that is an area surrounded by beautiful nature. That beauty doesn't stop all year round.
I have been wanting to do this project for so long, documenting motherhood in a metaphorical sense that you are under the weather. You don't get sick days as a parent.
The best thing about the Alpha Female program is that you have the creative freedom to be who you are.
There's not enough talk. There's not enough light. In that dark space, we learn about ourselves.
I use photography as a mode of self-healing. My inspiration for this project stemmed from this disorder that I experience.
Hi, I'm Lisa Janae, and my work focuses on making the uncommon more common and the more marginalized normalized.
The best thing about the Alpha Female program is that it's open to anyone. It's inclusive in age, ethnicity, skill level. And I think it gives everyone a nice, decent chance at winning this grant.
The program is giving voice, resources, and opportunity to people who might not have had it.
You matter, your art matters.
Just type it out, hit submit.
Start with something you love.
We all have something that we're passionate about that just kind of burns in our soul.
Show your enthusiasm about this project. Nothing wins someone's heart unless you tell them how much you love doing this.
What story could you tell that hasn't been told yet?
I can't wait to see what you create.
Dr. Tamaya Colvin. Hello.
Hello, how are you?
It is so great to see you. I am well, thank you. We just had some technical difficulties earlier, and I was thinking that this is going to be known as the era of technical difficulties.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
But we're so happy you're here with us today. Sony Artisan of Imagery, educator extraordinaire, Dr. Tamaya Colvin. I really, really love watching your stuff on social, on Facebook, because it's like, okay, here comes a Tamaya Straight Talk right now, and I'm just glued to it. I'm like, okay, please tell me. And every time I'm like, you are so right. That is so right. Yes. So yeah, you did one. You did a straight talk about the fear of hearing no, and I just loved it so much, and I want to talk about that.
Okay.
So what do you tell people? How do you get out of that fear?
So yeah. So today, I said all the words that I possibly couldn't say here. So I said, you know, one of the things about the Alpha Female Grant is that I think that we have to allow ourselves to get comfortable in saying, in hearing no, right? So we're so used to this atmosphere or social media where everybody's like for these likes and these comments, and everybody's like, oh yay, you're so great, like woo, right? However, there are going to be times where you apply and you get told no. And even when you apply, you still have to like keep applying. So that was the part that was just like so mind-boggling to me. I was like, okay, so I applied for a grant last month. They told me no, and I was like, okay, so I'm gonna apply again next month. Like it was just that type of tenacity. I was just like, okay, fine. They told me no, so I'll go back. I'll look at my application. I'll see where are some places that I could possibly do better, and apply again.
And that makes a lot of sense. In the end, growth is a numbers game, right? It's about persevering. It's about constantly trying to be better than your version of yourself from yesterday. In the end, you're not really competing with anyone else when you think about it.
Yeah. And so, you know, and I was thinking today, you know, I was thinking like, okay, so what could I tell someone that could possibly like inspire them today to apply? And I came to the conclusion that the goal for the next season of applications is for you to get told no at least 11 times.
I love it. I think that's a really good goal.
Yeah, or possibly 12 or 13 or 14. Because what I thought about was that every time that someone applies, they're going to become a better writer. Like Brooke said, they're going to get better at video. Life and current events are going to happen that, you know, change our trajectory of how we see things and how we see life. And so I believe that if you apply every single month for the next year, I mean, by golly, your application in July is definitely going to be better than your application in May. And the one in December is going to be better than the one in July. And so it doesn't mean that just because you did not win in one particular season doesn't mean that you're a failure. That doesn't mean that. That just means that it wasn't your season at that moment. And I think sometimes we rush to get to the finish line, and sometimes we just need to sit down for a little while and let that creative juice flow a little bit longer. Let that project like really flush that idea out. You know, don't wait until the last minute. And so you're typing, trying to get your thoughts in. But if you gave yourself just a little bit more time to just let that idea just flourish out and then make some changes every now and then I think that if you continued on that process, then I think that the application obviously will get better over time.
Couldn't agree more. And it's a growth mindset, right? And I've always admired you for like a really very thoughtful application of the growth mindset and your philosophy. And one of the things that you teach people about is kind of how to grow themselves and how to grow their business. And ultimately, this is, if you're a creator who does this for a living and you're applying for this grant, this is part of your business, right? It's a step in the direction of growing your business. So how do you tell people to approach themselves as a business instead of maybe taking it personally or I don't know, being precious about it, you know?
Yeah. So one, before I forget, since you mentioned mindset, I want to, if you can see that, I want to encourage everyone to read or to get Mindset by Dr. Dweck. That is one thing that you definitely need in your arsenal when you are definitely applying or even going into a season of in your business. So definitely you got to have that. But as far as like business and that type of thing, like I really think that we have to go back to like why we started in the first place, right? Like, so why photography? Why the genre that you photograph? Why? And when you approach it as a business, and this one you may disagree with, audience, so I'm letting you know up front. We always approach our business as me, 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 me. It's all about me. It's all about me. It's all about my profit. And I'm going to challenge you that your business is not about you. Your business is about serving other people through your photography. And so you may not like that, and that's fine. But I want you to consider the same thing with your application, that for your grant is not necessarily about you. It is about the community in which you live, the community that you serve, the community, and how you can make this world a better place. So if you're considering, applying, one, to get out of your feelings. So that's the first thing. But then the second thing, stop trying to make this whole thing about you and make it about the people that you actually serve. And that can be your client base. That could be underserved, population of people. It could be animals. It could be whomever you want it to be. But if you approach it from a storytelling standpoint of how you, yourself, and your brand, obviously you're going to evolve, but how are you actually going to serve people through a grant? Like, obviously we all know that you want the money. So, okay, we got that out the way. So now what? You have the money. What are you going to do with it? How are you going to leave this earth better?
That is such an insightful thing, because as you're talking through this, I'm thinking about all of our previous 12 winners from this latest round. And every single one of them won with a project that was about someone else or about something bigger than themselves. It wasn't about, I'm going to do this project because it's going to help me land this many clients or grow my business in this way. It was always, I want to do this project because I'm going to help this community. And I'm thinking about Arnisha and the Subtle Strength of Kings, and I'm thinking about Julie and the women of the Midwest, and I'm thinking about Lisa Frank and, her wildlife photography. Everything was really about something or someone else. And that was probably one of the things that got them the grant to begin with.
Yeah. They weren't selfish.
Right. They weren't selfish. And it's the same for this community. You run an amazing community as well. You lead an amazing community, and you've built the Photo Cookout, which is absolutely a tremendous event, and where you share a lot of this wisdom. And Alpha Female is about community, right? Like, this is what we've been building. You're not just applying for a grant. It's not like a one and done situation. It's more of a, you're joining a community. You're committing to be a part of something kind of bigger that will take you to the next level as well. Everyone will be just growing together, right?
And I think that's the idea, that if we enter this through idea of, you know what, maybe I don't get the grant, but maybe I hold another sister or someone else in my community accountable for at least applying. We apply together, right? And so if that person holds another person hold another person accountable, then imagine the strength of the community there and the people that we are now serving. So again, you have to think about something bigger than yourself. So you want the grant, and that's great, but obviously this is a family, right? So Brooke and I chat on Instagram all the time, right? So it's not just I'm gonna just get this and then I'm gonna roll out. No, the idea here is that you have a community, you have a family that that you can depend on and that you can chat with. And so regardless of what it is, it doesn't matter. If someone texts me right now in the group chat, then I'm going to be there. And that's the idea that I want you all to consider, like being there for the community. So even if you don't win, can you be a cheerleader for someone else in the stands?
Yeah, that's such a great point. It's something we've been trying to build. And, I think a lot of people sometimes are skeptical of it, especially when it comes from a brand. Obviously, I'm a brand representative for Sony. You are a Sony Artisan of Imagery. So you have created a relationship with the brand because of what it stands for. But I think a lot of people sometimes look at it and they say, well, it's a brand doing this, it's no big deal. But the reality is that the brand is not a living thing. It's the people behind it, right? And the people have decided to drive the brand values in a certain direction and to put the brand out there saying, we're going to help you and we're going to build this thing. And
Absolutely.
I really hope people sort of look at it that way it doesn't matter who's behind it. The important part about it is that this is a family, it's a tribe, it's a community, and we get to be close to people like you, for instance, just by becoming part of the community.
Yeah. And I think, we think of Sony as a brand, and it is. But I also want you to consider on your application that the judges are real people.
Yeah.
They're real people. They're real people.
Yes.
Yes, it's like a real person. So it's not like this intangible object of like, I wonder who's gonna, it's like, obviously I don't know who's all on the judging committee, but I mean, obviously I know that you are, but I'm just saying that there are people that are reading this that are looking like and say, oh, this is a great idea. Oh, yes, and so when you're writing, an essay or you're talking about yourself, that you are ideally your brand. You are the brand that you walk into the room with on your paper. So it's just like you're trying to persuade. Sorry, I'm going to go into teacher mode for half a second, but it's just like you're trying to write a persuasive essay. You're trying to get a client to book you, right? It's the exact same thing. So on your website, you have a gallery. Obviously, you put your absolute best photos on your website or on your Instagram so that your client can book you. Obviously, on your website, you have copy, you have words that tell your story, that tell why you are a photographer, why you do what you do. Same thing goes on your application. You should be engaging on social media, perhaps maybe even on TikTok, regardless of what it is, that you should be engaging with the people that you serve through your photography. It's the exact same thing. And so I don't want you to, we get into this space of when we're writing that we hit this roadblock of that it's an essay and I can't write. And I want you to consider that it's not an essay, it's your personal story, and no one else can tell your story the way that you can. So don't think about, oh, I need to write a dissertation or a thesis. Nobody's asking you to do that. They're asking you to tell your authentic story that only you have. And so if I'm putting my best foot forward, like I'm not going to come out the gate and say, well, listen, I'm late on like sending 12 galleries. I haven't ordered some albums. I'm not going to tell them all of that. I'm going to tell you I am the best photographer in the world. Do you hear me? That is me. So when you submit your application, you tell them your absolute best.
I love it. Let's continue with this thought. Let's give people one thing that they should do in their essay, in their application, and one thing that they shouldn't do.
So one, you need to keep it simple. Sometimes y'all go on these tangents and, you start off in the zoo and then we end up in New York City. I'm not sure how we all got there. But stay on topic, friends. Stay on topic. Keep it simple. Explain to them why your project is important. Why you? Tell them just why you in simple terms. And always, for me, like, I don't know how you all set your goals, but for me, my goals are, one, I have long-term goals, and then I have short-term goals to reach those long-term goals. But I would definitely, if I were you, I would set it in a parameter in which something that I can reach. So today I cannot solve world hunger. I can't do that. But I could go and photograph all of the senior citizens that come to the food pantry like my grandma did today. That I can do. So I would make sure that the project that you're working on is something that is obtainable, is simple, and something that is going to give impact to those that you serve. And do not go off on a tangent.
I love that. Yeah, you and I were talking recently about that, and how sometimes people think that going back into their childhood and telling us like a whole paragraph about it is going to make a difference. And the reality is you only have 500 words. So you have to be very judicious with what you're choosing to tell us. And if it's relevant, it might be really personal and really important to you. And we totally get that. But is it important for your project? Is it important for us to know in order to award you this grant? And that's excellent advice, really excellent advice.
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead. You were going to say something.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, if your kindergarten teacher is not important to the grant, then I would probably leave that out of the application.
Yes, that is very, very good advice. I have a few of those people in my life who are really important, but probably not important to applying for the grant. So let's, in the couple of minutes that we have left, Tamaya, let's tell people a little bit about what you've been doing lately. And you have the mini sessions, and you've been doing like a whole lot of stuff. And I want you to tell people about that, because I think there's a lot to learn from how you've been putting that out into the world as well.
Oh, yay, thank you. So if you are in my Facebook group, Tamaya Colvin Education, the community, it's on Facebook. I go live. Sometimes I say cuss words, FYI. But I always tell the truth. So if you have questions about pricing, you want to be able to be profitable in your business, if you want to maybe start selling products, then this is the place to be. I'm live there most 3 or 4 times a week. I'm not all dolled up every time. Let me be honest, most of the time I'm not. But
so beautiful every time.
But I'm here to support you in your business. And next month, it has not been released yet, but there will be a little something coming up in the terms of maybe an online virtual workshop coming. Yeah.
Excellent. I can't wait. Yeah, I wanted people to know about that, because I think as part of this application process, it's not just about the application itself, like just going head down into that one form on the web, but it's really about opening up your mind to what the teachers around that have to tell us. There's just a wealth of knowledge out there, and you're one of those people who share it freely. And I certainly enjoy it because I'm in your community, and I think a lot of people would benefit from it. So definitely everyone go and check it out, and follow Tamaya for some of that advice, because she does do great straight talks.
Yeah, thank you. So I will definitely be holding most people in the Facebook group accountable. So there will be no excuses this season for you not to apply, because I want the goal for me is always to make sure that my fellow peeps are taken care of. And that means sometimes we have to do things scared, things that are uncomfortable, things that we may get told no to, but still do it and learn from it in the process.
Sharing the love. That's really important.
Yep.
Well, thank you so much, Tamaya, for joining us today. Wonderful as always. Really amazing advice. And our community is lucky to have you. And as one of our lead alpha females, we're just really, really excited every time you come on. And hopefully we'll get to do more of this as the year goes, okay?
Yay! I'm excited.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back. And hello, Lisa Janae.
Hi, how are you doing?
Hi, I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm good. Out here in sunny Las Vegas, not 120 degrees yet, so we're okay. It's all good.
Good. Good. I think you've been watching. I could just go on forever with these ladies, with Brooke and Tamaya. We could be here for like a whole day, and I'd be like, "What? It's only been 5 minutes. This is good." And I have a feeling that it's going to be the same for us right now. So let's jump right in. Let's first tell people that you are one of the winners of our Alpha Female Plus grant in the previous season. You are in fact our 12th winner, and because of that, people haven't had a chance to see your project yet. So for the first time ever, we're going to show a teaser of what you've created with your grant, which is very exciting. But first, I want to talk a little bit about your journey to the grant. A lot of people are very curious about that, and they want to know, how do you win one of these things? And you are here, so they can ask you that directly as well, and we can talk about it for a bit. So tell us, how did you decide to apply for the grant, and how did you decide how to do it, and what project to put on your essay?
You know, this is a funny question for me because I think I was a very non-traditional applicant in the sense of I had a college friend send me the Sony Alpha Grant application literally a few days before the deadline. And then I just applied. I actually didn't even think I would have enough time. I wasn't even going to do it, to be honest with you. And I kind of sucked it up. And, you know, they ask you for, you know, a 1-minute video telling about yourself, and then basically a project proposal, you know, basically saying what you're going to use the grant for. And my biggest concern was the video. I was really nervous about the video. I actually already had the concept. I already knew what I wanted to do. I was in the process of applying for other fellowships at the same time. And so I just applied the same concept. I had the pitch deck ready. The concept was done. Everything was good for the proposal, but the video, I think it's always hard for people to talk about themselves, whether it's a personal statement or whatever it may be, right? And I decided to do a visual sample in terms of like a newscast. It was like a sizzle reel where I'm standing and talking, and you're seeing what I'm talking about. For me, I'm a visual person, and I felt like that was something I could do that would show how I view the world and help you all learn more about me. So that was my approach to the application, and I applied on a whim. I'm pretty sure I submitted my application like less than 12 hours before it was due, to be completely honest. And I felt confident with it. You know, I don't normally feel like that, but for some reason I just knew exactly what I wanted to do with this one. So
I love it. I love that that's the story, because, you know, we were talking about not overthinking it earlier in the event, and we talked about simplicity, and Tamaya was talking about simplicity earlier, and keeping it simple and just putting it out there. And this is perfect proof of that you were able to get it done like right at the very end, and also proof that we do actually review every single application that comes in all the way up until the deadline. So you know what I think what would be great, and some people have asked, is for us to actually see the video with which you applied, and then let's roll that and then come back and talk about it for a bit.
Okay, sounds good. Hi, I'm Lisa Janae, and I'm going to share 3 facts about myself so you can really get to know me. Let's do it. Number 1, I was born and raised in South Los Angeles, very much on the margins as the youngest of 4 siblings, including a twin sister. Number 2, my dad never went to college, but despite the odds, I got a full ride to study film and even went on to get a Master's of International Affairs at Columbia University. Number 3, in between all that, I traveled a lot. I've been to 36 countries and lived in 5. I've worked for the United Nations, the White House, and even served for 3 years in the Peace Corps in West Africa. Fun fact, I was actually sworn out of service by Hillary Clinton herself. So, here's the question. What led me to become a storyteller? When I finished at Columbia, I returned to my passion of filmmaking. I'm a Black, queer, androgynous artist and activist. Everything I've experienced, I was not supposed to be able to. So my work focuses on making the uncommon more common and the more marginalized normalized. So you'll see in my creative work, my intention is really to center marginalized voices and build human connection.
Okay, so that was an amazing video, I thought, and I love the hat, by the way. I love hats.
Thank you, appreciate that.
But I just want to make a couple of notes to people. First of all, Lisa Janae is obviously very skilled at video. She has a video project, so that's, I think, one of the reasons you had such a polished video to apply with. We don't necessarily have that expectation. We're not judging someone on the edit, but what we judged on was exactly what we had asked of you when we ask of people in the application, which is, tell us about who you are. Let us see who you are. Like, what's your personality? What you think is important about yourself? What you want to tell us about yourself? And I think that video was successful because you conveyed that story about you. It wasn't necessarily because you edited it so well. Like, even if you hadn't edited in all the footage or all the photos, I think it still would have conveyed the same story of who you are and what you've been doing and what you want to do. And I think that was really important, and it's something I want people to take away.
Yeah, for sure. And I think for me, what was most important in doing the video was showing who I am, right? That was the question. But I felt like I couldn't say who I was without explaining my background and my artistry, you know, as a filmmaker, as an actor, because I don't have a traditional, you know, film background. I do have a bachelor's degree in film production, but I didn't do that. I'm not someone that's done film for the past 10, 15 years, right? I lived overseas. My specialization is Africa. I have a master's in international affairs. I worked for the United Nations. I did Peace Corps, all these things. And then I've come back to film the past few years, and I felt like it was important for me to not ignore my experiences because they very much inform my storytelling right now. You know, everything I create is about human connection, and it's very much human-centered, and that's a direct result of my background. So I wanted that to come across in the application video because I know that that's something that makes me a different applicant, you know? Even outside of my film skill sets or even be able to, you know, make a polished video, it's the storytelling behind the video. Like you were saying earlier, you know, you could shoot it on an iPhone. I could have done it on my iPhone, you know? But for me, I just really wanted to get across who I am and what I stand for because of what the experiences I've had, you know?
Yeah, and that's such a great point as well, because one of the things that actually Tamaya and I were talking about earlier was how the project should always be about someone else. Like, you should look inside yourself and realize that you're doing this for someone else. It shouldn't be just about you. And I think to a great extent, pretty much everyone that won the grant this year did exactly that. And your project is about someone else. It's about a different community. And another thing I want to point out, and people are going to see this in just a second, it also answers the absolute central tenet of the program, which is furthering the point of view, the representation of women, minorities, and people who need to have more of a voice in this industry. And you're doing exactly that with your project. And I think that it was just a perfect combination of your story and the project you wanted to do, that it just made perfect sense for the mission of the program. So I want to do something. For the first time ever, we're going to show a teaser for what's coming up for your first episode that you shot during the grant. And I really want people to get a chance to see it right here, right now. So let's roll that, and then we'll come back and talk about it.
I remember feeling like, who's gonna love me now? Like, being black, being gay, being fat. To add HIV on top of it was like, you know, just hang it up. Protect the black people. I know so. Do you not see this right here, right now? As black folk, as queer folk, we don't get to take up space and be who we are. Too much have we had to suffer in silence.
What's in your heart and soul is the most important thing that you'll ever have.
I trust the process, not just this year. Like, I want it to be when I'm 95 and I look back and be like, God damn it, I did that. And I'm sitting there with a fat
common characters. There's nothing quite like photography or video or film to put out these stories in a way that people can understand them and relate to them.
Completely agree.
And I think you're doing exactly that. So tell us more about common characters and how you went about the project.
So for me, whenever I talk about common characters, I always bring it up as a question to explain it to people. So the question I have, even in the pitch deck, the first question is, what if you could go even deeper and to the lives of the people you think you know, right? What if you could go even deeper into the lives of the people you think you know? And I repeat that because it sounds like a very straightforward question, but for me, it's so much deeper than that, right? Because who you think you know is often based off of, if it's not direct interaction, it's usually stereotypes or preconceptions or what you see in the media. And I felt like in my experiences and my travels, you meet a lot of people, or even just being in New York, you see a group of Black men on the corner outside of a bodega, or you see elderly women on a stoop or on a porch just watching the neighborhood, and you may say hi to them or you may not, but you see them every day, these common characters, right? And that's where the title came from. And so for me, I felt like it was important to go deeper into that, to really get to know who these people are. And even beyond that, I have 5 characters that we're doing for the series outside of Willie the Genius, who of course started out our pilot episode, but one of our characters is in Sierra Leone. And she's a young African woman under 30 years old who started a solar energy company that just got recognized by Forbes. So it's really something that's interesting, because when you hear young African woman, you may already have stereotypes or preconceptions of what that could mean, what she could be like, what her work could look like. But then if you keep going beyond that, it's so much deeper. And it's those stories that seem like they're uncommon, that seem so marginal, that I wanted to bring to the center. And so each of the 5 characters were very intentionally chosen based off of what they stood for, the type of work that they do, and just them being a character in the world as someone who is on the margins using their voice, and we wanted to center that. So that's a general overview of the idea. We have, like I said, 5 characters. We have 2 here in Brooklyn. We have 1 in Los Angeles. We have 1 in Sierra Leone. We have 1 in Haiti. And all of them have a completely different background, right? So that's an overview. I'll stop there. I don't want to get too deep yet.
Well, it sounds amazing. I cannot wait to watch. I think a lot of people feel that way, and it just really speaks to what we've said we wanted to do with the program from the very beginning. This idea of inclusion, inclusion has become a bit of a keyword, a buzzword that people are shying away from, but the reality, what it means is making the pie bigger, allowing people to come into the circle where only certain people were allowed before, and allowing these voices inherently make us all richer, and we can all learn something. And this idea that you put forth about, think about the people you think you know, that's just really powerful, because we all make assumptions. And probably a great takeaway for people who are applying is, tell us about who you are so that we forget about what we thought we knew about you, right?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
So
it's always,
Oh,
go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, it's always interesting because, even when we're choosing these characters, the 3 things that we focused on was home, community, and nature, in terms of where you're grounded. And those are very simple things, right? Home, where you live, where you work; community, how you impact the community, where you work or live in the community; and then nature, where you're most grounded, where you feel like, I don't know if anyone's spiritual, but where you feel like most centered in terms of what you're doing, right? And those 3 things was how we chose the character. So even for applicants, it's could be something so simple that it could be unique to you still. And I think that's really important. And if I can give a tip right now, I would say, because this is how I felt too, like a lot of people could feel like your idea is not original. Before I even applied for this grant, I was talking to people about common characters, and they were like, oh yeah, I had a similar idea. And it's like, it made me feel like, dang, okay, I'm not the only one, right? But then it's like, you have to remember, someone else may have the same idea as you, but it's unique because it came from you, right? And nobody else is like you. So what you do, it may look completely different from what someone else has done. And if it's in you for a reason, and you should pursue that. So that's a tip I would give. I know it's a little random.
Well, you took the question out of my mouth, because I was going to ask you, what do you want to leave people with? A tip you want to leave people with as we sign off here.
For sure. I would add start with what you know and build on it. Right. So I could have chosen anyone to start off this series with the 5 different characters, but I chose people already in my network who I kind of knew what they were doing, like people I thought I knew, right? Who I wanted to go deeper into and understanding them and their lives. So start with what you know and build on that. And then another thing I would say is stay ready so you don't have to get ready, right? I was able to last minute because I already had the concept. I already had my pitch deck. I knew exactly what I wanted to do. I didn't know how to like package myself yet, but I had the idea. And the first thing I did after I got the grant was hire a story producer. Literally, I got the grant the next day. I was like, I need a story producer to help me figure out how to make this concept show visually, because I didn't know what it was going to look like visually, right? And so that's another thing I would say. And the last recommendation is just don't doubt yourself or overthink anything. I really think something I've taken from this is just to trust yourself and trust that Sony choosing you, is a huge affirmation. It's a validation, especially for me. I'm an emerging filmmaker and emerging artist. This is my first grant, you guys. Okay. So I was like over the moon when they called me. I was extremely excited because it's very validating to receive unrestricted funds to pursue a dream project that you've always had in your mind. And Sony gives you what you need to get started. And it's really an act of love for me that Sony offers this and that Sony Alpha Female even exists. So I'm just very grateful. And I wish everyone luck. And the community is amazing. So if you need support, definitely reach out. I know everyone's been saying that, but it's very true.
Just absolutely amazing words. And yeah, it is an act of love. And I also want to convey the same thing to you. We are so grateful that you chose to do this, that you applied, that you brought us this project, and you gave us an opportunity to fund it, because it goes both ways. We are enriched by what you do, and you are helping us in this mission that we've started, and you're helping the community. So thank you. Thank you for becoming one of our voices and for all the work that you do. And we're just so incredibly excited and grateful to have you be one of our alpha females. And I'm sure there's going to be a lot more to come, because now you're in the family. So we're going to get to do more, hopefully.
Definitely. Most definitely. I look forward to it.
Okay, same. Thank you so much, Lisa. I really appreciate it. Everyone stay tuned for Lisa's first pilot episode. It's going to be coming in the next few weeks. And looking forward to watching that. What a wonderful, wonderful creator. And every single one of them is the same way. And I know that you can't wait to become one of them. So I'm going to bring back my partner in, not crime, but my partner in creation for Alpha Universe, Christopher Robinson. And we're going to take some questions right now. Chris, what an amazing set of creators that we had today. Just in awe of all of them.
And it's so great to see Lisa and get to talk to her. And as you guys were talking, I'm looking here in the live chat and just really humbled by the great encouragement and so many positive comments for Lisa and for her work and her project. So it's really great to see. And this is just such a great community to see that kind of support that's always pouring out. So feel a little emotional just talking about that. But it really is great to see.
Yeah, I agree. It's just Lisa's words there at the end were just, just so great, and so excited for what these people are creating. And it's all together. This entire community is an act of love. So let's talk about, I just really love what Lisa said about stay ready so you don't have to get ready. And I thought that was just such an insightful thing to say. And I kind of just want to use that as the slogan for this year's Alpha Female program because it just feels so right. Like, let's get everyone to stay ready and just keep applying and putting ideas out into the world and getting them done. So I know we've been receiving questions because I've seen some of them pop up. I haven't had a chance to look at the actual list of questions. I know you were in there for a bit. So maybe you have a question that you can start with, and I'm going to take a look at the list that we have here as well.
Sure, and we got a lot of questions just sort of asking for a little clarification about the nature of the span of the application period, how many times you can apply, et cetera. So let's just clarify that for a second. Yeah, you can submit a new application every month. And if the application that you submitted last month wasn't selected as a winner, it's still in the running, as will be the new application that you submit for a different project. So you can submit up to 12 projects if you start submitting right here for the first grant. And each one of those applications will stay in the running for the entire period unless you win one, in which case it comes out of the running.
That's right. Excellent. I see a question here that was asked earlier. What was missing from any of the strong applicants in the last round that prevented them from being selected? Any takeaways that we can learn from? Ask Polly. And Polly, I think the answer to that is not about what was missing from the strong applications, but what was in the applications that won. I think it's really that when you have so many incredible creators wanting to get a grant, what you focus on is really on figuring out what is the absolute best fit for that month's grant. And we never really look at applications as something's missing from this, but more of like, these are the ones that race to the top because they had all these different things that we were looking for. And the main thing that we're looking for that Lisa also pointed out in our previous segment is storytelling. Tell us the story of you and tell us the story of your project and why you want to do it and why we should be the ones funding it with this grant. And it's a pretty simple proposition in the end, right? It's not a very complicated thing, but it does require a little bit of thinking and a little bit of preparation and getting down to the essence of what you want to tell us, right?
Yeah, definitely. And, she was talking about, going with what and being able to execute. And that's really important for the judges. When you're filling out the application, when you're writing that essay, especially if you have a project that feels a little bit ambitious, paint a picture for the judges that really illustrates how you'll be able to accomplish it. Like Lisa was saying, it was really in her network. And I think that really resonated with the judges, saying this is someone who can actually get this done in this time period and with these resources. So it really helps to, it's great when you have a really ambitious application, a really ambitious project, but definitely paint that picture in the space that you have allotted between the essay and the video that really lets the judges know you can get this done.
Yeah, and the time period is really important to mention as well, right? So we have created this program in such a way that it would allow people to focus on one project. And it does mean that it is a certain type of project. First of all, it's a project that can be finished within about a month's time frame. We have about 4 to 5 weeks each time that someone can take the money and complete their project and deal with that. And I think that's really important. And the reason we're doing that is because it's really important to get something done. And it's also really important to focus on something that can be done versus trying to get it done over a period of a few months or a year. And we did get this question quite a bit about, does it have to be a month? Does it have to be completed? If I have a video project, can I get more time? And the answer is, there's a reason why we selected this time frame, because it allows you to accomplish something. It allows us to help the community accomplish something. And it also says something about the types of projects that can be submitted. If you have a project that needs to happen over a period of 6 months, probably not the right fit for this grant. but I'm sure it could be a right fit for something else. So, but what project could you have to be a right fit for this grant, or how could you adapt it so that we could take a look at it and review it as part of this grant process? So I wanted to mention that because I've seen that question quite a bit. Let me see some other questions here. Is there an age limit? Chris, age limit?
Oh, I would say go and check out the terms and conditions. I know there is an age requirement, but definitely the terms and conditions, by the way, they're available right there on the website. You can call them right up, and it will answer a lot of questions regarding age limits, time limits, things like that. So it's a very comprehensive list of terms and conditions. I encourage everybody to take a look at that.
That's exactly right. And I'm glad you mentioned that, and also the FAQs, right?
Yes. And the FAQs are a living document. As we get more questions that are frequently asked, we add answers to more frequently asked questions.
Exactly right.
And as I was watching the questions coming in, we got a lot of questions about previous grants. If you've applied before, could you apply with the same project again? Do you want to speak to that one, Michaela?
Yeah, yes. If you've applied before and you didn't win, you can absolutely apply with that project again. What I would recommend is that you take a look at it, right? And you, knowing what you know now, after you've seen all these people give you advice and all the things you've read and seeing the winners and all of that, how would you change it? Would you change it in any way? Would you edit what you wrote? Would you do anything differently? And if the answer is no, then no problem. You can resubmit it. You can resubmit it in the same way. So you just have to go in and put the application in and do your video and all of that. So there's nothing different than last time. But I would encourage you to take a look at it with the eyes that you have now, a few months later, and see, does it make sense to resubmit it as is, or should I make any changes to it? That would be my advice.
Yeah, definitely take those fresh eyes, get that fresh perspective. If you liked your previous project, definitely feel free to submit an application again, but give it a once over. And then, and I'm going to keep saying this, and then think about another project and how you can apply the next month for something different. So it's a tremendous opportunity to be able to apply throughout the year.
Exactly right. I see this question popping up a few times about working with partners, wanting to apply with a partner. Can you submit with a partner as a creative team? And the answer is yes, and we have a winning team actually for this last round. If you go take a look at our winner page, you'll see that Tiara Caramonte and Anne Lagamayo actually won together for a very cool project that they did. I don't think you do anything differently because you're applying as a group. So you're submitting one application for the two of you. And you should definitely tell us that in your essay and in your project plan, and probably in your introduction video, it's going to be both of you. So that's nice. We're going to get to see that. And you're going to be in the running just as with everyone else. So there will be one grant that you're in the running for. So you're going to have still the $1,000. And we did actually make an exception and provided the cameras for Anne and Tiara because we wanted them to have the ability to shoot exactly what they wanted. They were doing a video. So definitely you can do that. And if that's a project that you have as a team, excellent. We love that.
Michaela, I was seeing that there were a lot of questions that were coming in about whether you had to submit, if you were going to submit multiple applications, if you had to submit a new video for each one. And, I think that if you feel that your one video is strong enough for each one of those applications, then resubmit it. But again, take a careful look at it and see if you can make each application stronger with a fresh video. I think that being able to really freshen your, each each submission, each application, every time you're thinking about a project, you can probably make something a little bit different that will help the judges to say yes to your project. And this is a real opportunity to do so.
And actually, it just makes me think of the challenge that Brooke issued earlier in our session with her about recording a video of yourself every day for the remainder of this application period, but maybe even after, because you can apply each month. And that's a really great point, because I think you evolve. I don't know that you would want to apply with the same video a few months from now. Probably your story would evolve, what you want to get across would evolve, and why not create something new? So yeah, I would concur with what Chris said is, sure, you can submit the same video again, but also remember that it's the same people who are going to be judging, and does it help you to submit the same video, or maybe it's time to spend a little time to make a new one. It's really up to you.
Yeah, definitely. And as I just keep saying, in every aspect of your application, try to find a way to help the judges to say yes to you. How can you think like a judge that they're going to want to say yes to your project?
Yes, that's exactly right. Okay, let's see some more questions here, Christopher. Can I apply for a project that I just started, or does it have to be completely new? Well, I think it really depends on what your goals are. What we're looking for is for you to provide a finished product within the period of your grant. So I'm sure that there are scenarios where you can probably continue something that you've started. We also have quite a few of our winners have larger projects, and they've completed a piece of it as part of the grant, because that's another thing for people who are asking, does it have to be completed within a month? If you have something that's sort of a bigger thing that could span months, you can take a piece of that and have that be the beginning, and have that be the thing that's funded by the grant, and continue afterwards. So Renisha is doing this with The Subtle Strength of Kings. She did her first set of shots as part of her grant, but she's continuing to shoot, and she's going to have more stuff coming out in June. So that's great. Dolphia did something similar. Obviously, Lisa Janae is doing something similar. This was her pilot for what she's trying to shoot, but she has 4 more episodes to go. So I'd say that's definitely something that you can do. And for a project that you've already started, it depends. It depends on what your goal is and what you can deliver as part of the grant. So I don't know. What would you say, Chris? Does that cover it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Okay. I know we only have time for a couple more questions here, but we got some questions about the photos that you put into your profile as your portfolio, and whether they had to be directly pertaining to your grant or not. And put your best foot forward. Showcase your work for the judges, especially if you are going to apply more than once. You don't have to clean out that whole profile each time you apply. In fact, you shouldn't, because, as I keep saying, your application will still be in the running. But put your best foot forward. Showcase what you can do. You can put a lot of photos in that profile. Take advantage of the space and really showcase your work. Do you agree with that, Michaela?
I would agree with that. And the creator profile allows for 25 photos. And shortly you will also be able to put a video in there. So you have plenty of space to show us what you have. And at the same time, I did see this question before, and I think I saw it here once as well, which is, what do I do if I want to create something completely new that I've never shot before? And I would say the answer to that can be, do you have an opportunity to shoot something that could potentially give us a sense of what you'd like to shoot? That's always a possibility, even if it's not sort of fully, blown out. And if you don't have that, then just put your best work, the best work that you've ever done in whatever area that was, whatever specialty you had, just go ahead and put that in your profile, because that'll give us a sense of who you are as well. And make sure you convey what you're trying to achieve in your essay and in your video, so that we understand that you're trying to pursue something new. Another question that keeps popping up is, can people who identify as men apply? Absolutely, yes. This alpha female, while the word female is in it, alpha female plus, is really about representing the female, the minority perspective, really, as I was saying earlier, making the photography and film and video pie bigger. And you can be a man who is perfectly representing that as well, and who has an excellent project and an excellent way of doing that. And you are eligible, and your application will be considered just the way it is considered for everyone else. So anyone, absolutely anyone can apply, as long as you meet the other requirements that are in the legal terms and conditions that we keep mentioning in the contest rules. And those are related to being in the US or Canada, certain territories, being 18 plus, those kinds of things. But when it comes to how you identify, gender identification, and anything else, yes, absolutely, everyone is welcome to apply.
Definitely. And I think we're just about out of time. I think if I was going to leave this segment and leave the audience with one thought, it is, be bold and just apply. You literally have nothing to lose. The application is very straightforward, and don't regret. I don't like to say don'ts about things. My one don't for this conversation is, don't regret that you did not apply.
I couldn't agree more. There's really nothing to lose. This is one of those things where you have nothing to lose, everything to gain. And the world works as a chain reaction sometimes, and you never know what may happen once you apply, and whether you win the grant or not. And also join the community. That would be my my other takeaway from this as well. Come talk to people, talk to our community. We have some amazing creators who are artisans of imagery, Alpha Imaging Collective. They're part of our Alpha Female Facebook group. And we also have our Alpha Female community in the Facebook group. Some really engaged and engaging creators who are just truly interested in helping out and providing feedback and sharing their work and providing inspiration. So do that, join the community, follow us on Instagram, and submit your photos for our monthly challenges, which we will also start next month. There will be other opportunities for you to become a part of this, even if you don't win the grant. And keep trying, keep applying, because you are bound to win something. I would say, no matter how small, it's still really important, and you have absolutely nothing to lose. So there.
Definitely.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. It's been wonderful to have you here. Thank you for all your questions. Thank you for watching, for commenting, for sending love to our guests. That's always just really wonderful to see how everyone is sharing themselves through these events and these workshops. And we're just thrilled to have you be part of this, part of the Alpha Female movement. You're going to see a lot more from us over the coming years, so stay tuned for that. And be part of the community. Come to alphauniverse.com to see what's happening, what's new every month. And I'm sure we will see you at another one of our events very soon.